Hi there. So, what can you do to avoid projects are delayed when a colleague is sick, on vacation, or leaving your company? This is something I think many organizations struggle with, and I'm pretty sure you know that basically. Like a colleague leaves or leaves like your team, is like sick for a very long time, and bam, the entire project deadline is at risk. So, from my experience, it's all about documentation and transparency. So, basically, you need to proactively manage information and data, and it needs to be accessible for your entire organization, for your team. Okay. And the big challenge, I think, is here is normally you don't know what information is missing until you experience basically yourself that you can't access the information or your team can't access it anymore. So it's not visible or something. Why? Typically in an office environment, this is something that stays uncovered basically. It stays there until it's too late, because normally, yes, you go over to your colleague's office, you knock on the door and say, hey, I have a question, can you help me with this and that? And then your colleague will help you for sure, because it's all here. All the information is here. It's not stored in the cloud. It's not somewhere else. It's like there. So you go and ask and everything is fine. And then, if you work in a remote organization, this is something, or this is, I think, from my experience, one of the first things that you will recognize and experience basically when information is not accessible for you and your team. You are stopped, you're blocked, you cannot continue to work, you are less productive because you don't have access to anything, you cannot proceed. And this is something you recognize immediately, because you cannot walk to your colleague's office and knock on the door. Basically, it blocks you just like that. Um, so, first of all, this sounds to me like, okay, then working remotely doesn't make sense. And this is like, not a good thing. But basically, it's the opposite. Sounds maybe illogical, but you know why? Because in a remote organization, you will almost automatically learn what kind of information is not accessible. You will see the weak spots, and you will learn about the weak spots of your company and of your documentation and knowledge management before it's too late, because you're looking at it, and it's not too late because your colleague will still be in place and your colleague can still work on it. And I think this is one of the wonderful things I've experienced with our remote team. So yes, it's a bit in the beginning, it's a pain. It's like, really, okay, oh no, this information is not here. I need to write it down. I need to document. I need to do something about it. But now, once you've built it, it's like a paradise, because a new colleague is coming, or somebody's leaving, or somebody's not available. Then you just say, hey, the information is here in the wiki, and you just take it and do something with it. So my three recommendations here for you, basically my three takeaways, basically, to avoid projects are delayed because of information missing and data is not there. Start to write guides, map your processes, and document your information. And really don't be sloppy about it. You cannot allow this. So it will really pay out if you document it well. Then use tools that do automatically support you in your documentation process. Basically, there are tools that just like store every conversation, everything you work about. There are project management tools you can just use, but don't use email for internal communication, because email is like an information silo, and it's definitely something that prevents your team from accessing information when they need it. Last but not least, recommend to use a proving software to control like who approves information, to be transparent about previous decisions, who has approved something, who has made a change request for certain content you want to publish, for example, and have this information accessible for your entire team. So if a colleague is like working on a project, colleague is going on vacation, this colleague can basically just invite another colleague to take over, and all the information is stored in the system. So yes, use software and you don't have trouble with any documentation issue, and then make information accessible. Thank you.